Hello and welcome to Saki Tech. In today's video, I will give you over 50 tips and tricks on the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge. This is a gorgeous phone, built wonderfully, and it also happens to be full of rich features. Seeing as how this is the Edge variant of the S6, let's quickly dive in to see everything related to the actual Edge of the phone, and then we will move on to the remaining tips and tricks after we cover the Edge. Now, whether you guys already own this device or want to get one, this is the video to watch to learn all about the S6.
Alright, so the very first thing you want to do to learn all about the Edge is to go into Settings, and under Device, go to Edge Screen. Now over here, you've got a bunch of options. You've got Edge Lightning, you've got People Edge, you've got Notifications, you've got Information Stream, Night Clock, and Edge Screen Position. Now the Edge Screen Position is very straightforward. You tap that, and you simply tell the phone which side of the edge you want the information stream to show. So anything that is going to happen on the edge screen can either be on the left side or the right side based on your preference. So that is the most basic option you're going to select before you start customizing your Edge phone. So let me show you one of the options that I can show you right away. So People Edge. What you want to do is you want to go in there and you want to enable it. After you enable it, you can tap on My People and you can pick different people that are going to be assigned different colors. So I'm going to be using Home as an example. I picked Home to be the blue color. And just so you know, after you add a contact, if you want to remove that contact, you have to click Edit, and then you have to click that red Delete button. Alrighty? So let's go back and show you what People Edge looks like. The first thing you can do is if you go to Home Screen, you're going to see a little gray bar on the screen on the side, and you can swipe from the edge, and that's going to bring your quick contacts. So the blue is Home, so it's going to show the first letter of the contact. So in this case, it's going to say H. And then if you had brother right here, it would say B. So you get the idea. So this is the first thing you can do. And if you tap on any contact, you get two options. You can either make a call or you can send a text message. So that's one of the things you can get done by the People Edge option. Now, another neat feature of the People Edge is when somebody calls you from your Edge contacts. In this case, I'm going to have my home phone dial me, which was assigned to a blue color. You're going to see at the bottom, it's actually going to glow in blue colors. And that's going to indicate that the home phone is calling you. And this way you can memorize people just by the color that you're getting on the phone, on the Edge. So when you do get a missed call from one of your contacts on the People Edge list, what ends up happening is you get a tiny bar here with the corresponding color for that contact. So here, I don't know if you did see this properly, but there's a little blue bar. There's a gray bar on the top, and there's a blue bar on the bottom. The gray bar, as we saw, was to pull up the contacts, and this blue bar is just to show you that you missed a couple calls from that Edge contact. And from here, you can, if you want, call them back, you can send a message, or you can simply dismiss it away. Alright, so let's go back into our settings. Go to Device, Edge Screen. Alright, so we already looked at Edge Lightning and People Edge. And then you can also have notifications on the edge of your screen, and you can also have an information stream as well as a night clock. So let me show you guys what all these things look like on the Edge. And just so you know, if you go into notifications, you can enable 3 kinds of notifications: missed calls, messages, emails. And if you go into information stream, you can actually manage feeds. So if you tap this, you can pick any one of these feeds that you want shown on the edge of the screen. Okay, so if I click this, it's going to show on the edge of the screen. You can also go to download feeds and get more feeds from the Samsung Play Store. But right now, they don't have a lot. So let's see how they look on the actual Edge when they're activated. Alright, so once you have enabled all the options that you want on the Edge screen options in the settings, what you want to do is when your phone is turned off, all you do is you swipe your thumb or whatever finger on the side of the screen, just like that, and that's going to activate the Edge screen. You're going to see the clock, the date, the battery meter, and the weather. And then if you flip over, you're going to see the information feeds that we were setting up. So that's the Twitter feed. Swipe one more time, you're going to see the Yahoo feed. Swipe one more time, and you're going to see the missed emails. So here's the notifications, okay? So I did miss one email from Best Buy. It's showing up right here. And if I had a missed call, it would be right next to it. If I had a missed text message, that would be here as well. Let's swipe one more time, and this is the Yahoo information feed. Now you can interact with the feeds right off the Edge screen by tapping on them. If you swipe this way, it's going to refresh the feed. So let me show you that. That's going to refresh the feed if you swipe that way. But if you tap on it, it's going to go ahead and launch the content the feed is pointing to. In this case, it is a news article on Yahoo. So that is all the things you can do on the Edge on your Samsung Galaxy Edge. Now let's move on to some other cool stuff. Now one thing I forgot to mention was if you go into the Edge screen settings and if you scroll down, go to information stream, at the bottom here says Edge screen timeout. This is something you can change. So every time you activate the Edge by swiping your finger on the Edge, you can allow the Edge to remain active for any amount of time that you please, but that's also customizable as well. Now here's a brand new feature that Samsung S6 added to its arsenal. What you can do is you can either pinch the screen and you can go to themes, from where you can actually change the entire theme of your phone, or you can go to settings, personal, themes. And then again, it's going to take you to the same screen. And let's just tap this forest theme that I downloaded just a couple of minutes ago. Now before I click this, I'm going to show you that you can go to the store and download even more themes. Most of these guys are free, but some of them might cost you $1. So let's go back out here and tap on the forest theme and click apply. And very quickly, the entire theme of your phone has changed into this nice forest theme. And if you go back into the settings, you're going to see that the colors have changed across the board. Alrighty, so that's all green and forest-like. If you go to the phone, it's going to look different as well. Pull up the dialer. There's your forest theme. And of course, you go back out, you pinch the screen, you tap themes again, and you go to default, and you're good to go. Another way to customize your phone is, if you look at the bottom here, you have two capacitive buttons, and if you tap them, they light up. One of them is the multitasking button, the other one is the back button. So as you can see, the light just turned off. If you go into settings, and if you go into display under device, at the bottom here it says touch key light duration. So you can actually customize the amount of time that they remain active. You can have it at 1.5 seconds, and as you can see, they turned right off. You can have them at 6 seconds, which I just had, or you can have them always off, so they never light up, or you can have them always on, which I personally prefer. So now, in this case, they're never going to turn off. Now here's a brilliant feature. Now to enable this feature, you have to first enable developer options. This is a hidden menu that most people don't know about. So if you go to settings, system, about device, scroll down to where it says, or up, look for the build number right there. Now tap build number 7 times, one more time, and that's going to enable the developer option. Now if you go into developer options, there's a lot of crazy fancy features you do not want to touch. But there's one here that actually makes your phone go into the matrix mode, as I call it. So let's tap this right here, animation scale, and let's go by 5x. Now what's going to happen is every animation on your phone is going to slow down. So when I go back home, it's going to give me a slow transition back home. And if I pull the menu down, tap settings, as you can see, that's a very slow transition. Options, very nice fade. And if you go down again, it's right here. It's called transition animation scale. So you can either slow your phone down to a crawl, or you can make it lightning fast by picking something even faster. Now obviously this is just animation, so it's not really slowing your phone down, it's just making it look like it's slowing down. Alright, so another customization tip, if you go into your messages, normally if you tap on any message, you're going to see a blank, a normal white screen, and you have a bubble speech here, and you have a white background. You can actually customize this. So if you go back out, if you tap more in the main screen of the text messaging application, tap on settings, you can go to backgrounds and bubbles, and from here you can pick different backgrounds and different speech bubbles for your text messages. And if you go back out now, go back into that message, you're going to get a brand new background, brand new speech bubble. Very nice customization tip. On top of this, what else you can do is if you go back to the main screen, you're going to see this box on the top. It says tap to add priority senders. Now if you click plus, you can pick any contact that you chat with very often, and then they're going to show up right on the top here. So if you go into your messaging application, you can simply tap this to start a quick conversation. And then if you want to remove these people, what you want to do is you want to tap more, and you want to say edit priority senders, and simply click that delete button, and it's gone. Click done, and you can also get rid of this. And if you want to add them again, just go to more, add priority senders. Another quick tip that has to do with the home screen is if you pinch the screen, you're going to see screen grid. If you tap this, this allows you to change the grid size of your home screen. You can have a 4x5, which means you can have 5 rows and 4 columns. You can also do a 5x5, which is going to give you 5 columns and 5 rows. Alrighty? Or you can keep it at 4x4 for maximum visibility. And I'm sure a lot of you guys know that the Samsung comes with the Flipboard briefing feature. If you swipe to the right, you get this Flipboard-like magazine interface, which some people like and some people hate. And this is customizable, of course. If you tap this icon right here, you can go down, and let's say you don't like sports, you can take that off. If you don't like celebrity news, as I don't, you can take those off. You can keep science, you can take entertainment off, you can keep style off, you can keep take food off, and then you can go back here, just tap that button, and now it's only going to feed you what you want. Now let's say you don't like this. What do you want to do? You want to pinch the screen, you want to go back to the home screen, pinch the screen, swipe over, uncheck it, and Flipboard briefing is in fact gone. So let's do some more customization, because that's the most interesting part with Android. So if you go into settings, and if you go to device, display, from here you can go into font, and you can also change the size of the font in your phone and also the type of the font. So you can pick different fonts. You can click done, and that's going to change the entire scheme of the fonts in your phone everywhere. Alrighty? So if I go back now, we've got that Rosemary font with the higher display size. Go back in display, go back to font, and you can put it back to default. And it's really quick. Everything you do on this phone is really, really quick. Now your phone comes with an LED flash, but if you want, you can use it as a flashlight. So what you want to do is you want to pull down the notifications panel, click edit, grab the flashlight at the bottom, and put it in the first position, or anywhere you want. You can put it on the first row or the second row. And this is all the disabled options that you can move back and forth if you wanted to. But you click done, and now when you pull this thing down, you've got the flashlight right here, which is actually very convenient to have. While we're talking about the notifications panel, as you know, this is the notifications, but this is the quick settings. So you can edit the quick settings, and you have 2 pages. So you go first page, second page. If you click edit, that is the first page, that is the second page. And you can rearrange this exactly how you please. So if you think Bluetooth is more important than Wi-Fi, you grab this and put it right there. If you think S-Finder is not important, you can grab it and disable it. Everything at the bottom here is disabled. Alrighty? And then when you click done, everything is rearranged. Now another thing, when you tap one of these icons, it toggles that option on or off. So if I wanted the Bluetooth, I would just tap it, enables Bluetooth. Now if I want to go into the detailed settings, I can press and hold, and that takes me into the detailed settings for that quick setting option. So again, turn off or turn on. Or I can go right into it for some more detailed settings. Now one thing I absolutely adore, this is a phone that has a great camera. So if you want to launch the camera anytime, anywhere, quickly, all you do is double tap on the home screen. Alrighty? and that takes you to the camera settings, to the camera I mean. And if you tap the camera settings, at the bottom you can actually disable that. It's called Quick Launch. It says open camera by pressing the home key twice in quick succession. So even if your phone was turned off and you double tapped it, it's going to bring up the camera immediately so you can get a quick shot. And while we are in the camera, if you go back into settings, what you can do is you can create grid lines so you can align your shots better. That's always nice to have. And the other thing that I personally enjoy and love is if you go down here, it says voice control. If you enable voice control, this is going to allow you to say things like smile or cheese to take a picture, or even say record video to record a video. So let's do a quick demonstration. Smile. And that took a picture immediately. Record video. And as you can see, the video recording started. So you can use this to take remote pictures or remote videos. And if you go back up here, you get a timer option. If you choose a timer and you say capture, now you can use the timer and the capture option to take a picture in conjunction. Additionally, when you're recording video, you go to settings, you tap on the video size, and from here you can do 4K video, which is also UHD. You can do QHD video. You can do 1080p at 60 frame rates per second, which is going to give you a smooth, lifelike video as opposed to regular 1080p, which is usually at 30 frame rates per second. You don't even want to worry about these guys. These are low quality video settings, so you want to do either this or these guys if you want super high definition. And finally, back in the settings, if you scroll down, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you configure these volume keys on the side to do specific things while you have the camera app launched. So you can either take pictures with it, record video, or zoom. So if you have it set to zoom, go back out, it's going to actually allow you to zoom in and out as opposed to taking a picture or recording a video. And here's some of the favorite features I like in these phones because it gives you a lot of information. If you go into settings, and if you go all the way down to the system, you've got battery manager. So if you tap it, what you can do here is you can look at some stats and get some useful information. So over here, for example, it says 71% battery life, approximately 7 hours of life left based on how I have been using the phone. So you have an idea of when your battery is going to die, and it's going to be based on realistic usage. On the top here, you've got the battery percentage meter. If you uncheck it, the percentage meter on the top disappears over here. If you check it, it comes right back. And then you got the ultra power saving mode. If you tap that, and if you turn this on, your phone is actually going to transform into a basic black and white phone with most basic functions available, such as the phone, the internet, and messaging. And as you can see, you can add a couple other items over here. If you tap plus, you can add a memo, and you can even have a little voice recorder. At the bottom here, it says you have 71% battery life, and with this mode, you're going to get up to 16 hours of battery life as opposed to 7 hours we were getting just a couple minutes ago. And when you're done with this mode, you tap more and you turn it off. And going back into the battery manager, you also have this power saving mode that is not as strong and crazy as the ultra power saving mode, but it still can help you save some battery life by limiting the CPU performance and reducing the screen brightness and stuff like this. There's a description right here that tells you exactly what it does. If you go back out and go back into settings and system, you also have a storage manager. If you tap this, it's going to tell you what's your total space, how much is available, how much is being used by the system, and if you tap used space, you get some more details, applications, pictures, audio, how much are they wasting. You can go back, and at the bottom here it says cached data. If you tap cached data, it allows you to delete cached data. Now in my case, I have almost half a gigabyte of data that has been cached. I'm just going to keep it for now, but if you need more space, simply tap this guy, tap delete, and you have some extra space. And while we're on the topic of managing your device, let's go back to Settings, Connections. At the bottom here, in the middle, it says Data Usage. If you tap this, you can now manage your data. You can set mobile data limit. If you turn this on, it's going to allow you to configure this bar here. You can push this down to 4 gigs. So what this means is at 4 gigabytes of data usage between this cycle, the data is going to shut off. So if you only have 4 gigs through your carrier and you're about to go above it, it's going to shut off your data so you don't get charged. You can also set a warning. So at 4 gigs is the limit. That's where the data shuts off. But if you want to get a warning showing you that you're close to your maximum, you can move this bar around. So you would be able to do something like this. So give me a warning at 3 gigs and shut it off at 4 gigabytes. Now if you scroll down a little bit, it shows you which application has been using most of your data. So you can better manage it that way as well. And if you tap More, you can tap on Restrict Background Data, and that's going to save you data as well, but it's going to stop doing things like updating your weather in the background or updating your live widgets unless you manually do it. If you want to re-enable it, just go to More, Turn Off, and you're back in business. So the next thing I want to talk about is the multitasking. So multitasking is a big thing on the Samsung series. And what you have is you have what's called multi-window. You can tap this multitasking pane, and let's say you want to write a text message, but at the same time you want to be able to browse the internet. You can tap this icon, and as long as you see the 2 squares on the top here, you can click that, and then from the bottom here, you can choose any other application. So in this case, let's just pick the Play Store. So now you have multi-window operation. You can be playing with the Google Play Store, or you can be writing text messages at the same time. Just think of combinations that will be useful to you. I can have my YouTube running up here and a map application down here if I'm in the car. And the other thing is, if you were going to type something, you can use the keyboard. But if this keyboard is not convenient because it hides the entire screen, you can tap and hold right here. Oops. And tap this icon, and now you have a floating keyboard. So if I type something, I can take this guy, oops, and I can put it anywhere I want, right? And if I switch back to messages, go back into that text message, type something, whoop, let's move it right over here. Alrighty, so you can have a floating keyboard. If you want to disable the floating keyboard in the multi-window view, tap and hold the same button at the bottom, and click the keyboard icon, and you're back in business. Now another option you have is called a pop-up window. With the pop-up window, you can have windows floating on the screen anywhere. So let's go to Apps and launch the calculator. Now as long as calculator is supported by the pop-up window feature, you can swipe from top corner to bottom, and that's going to create a little application, and you can take this and put it anywhere. If I go back home, it's going to minimize just like that. You can put this anywhere, tap it, bring it up, make a quick calculation, and then you can minimize it if you want. Put it right over here, and you can do the same with a couple other applications. So I think the clock option has that ability. So let's go back. It doesn't. It says cannot open app in pop-up window. So let's go back and do the calendar. As you can see, I can have 2 of these guys. I can have more than 2, but this is just so you get an idea. So anytime you need any of these guys, you can pop right on top of it. When you're done with it, tap the circle, X, tap the circle, X, and that closes the pop-up windows. So that is the multi-window and the pop-up window features. Now another really cool option, if you go into settings, what you can do is you can search through the settings. So if I'm looking for lock screen options, I can type in lock screen, and that's going to take me to lock screen, and security I can tap right on top of it. And what else you can do is you can go back into settings, and you can tap more and click Edit Quick Settings. From here, you can create your own settings tab. So let's say you use Wi-Fi a lot. Check that. Let's say you use data usage a lot. Just check it. Whatever you want, and you can pick anything you want. Display, the edge screen, and you can have up to 9 of these options. But when you go back out, you now have a quick settings tab which you can customize based on what you access more than anything else. And of course, if you want to disable it, all you do is you go back to more, you click Edit Quick Settings, and you uncheck the ones you checked. So as soon as you uncheck these guys and you go back, the Quick Settings menu disappears and you get the usual. So let's talk about customizing your lock screen. So if you go to your lock screen, there really isn't much going on. But if you go into Settings, Personal, Lock Screen and Security, as long as you have the screen lock type to swipe, you can change the unlock effect. So you can have the water droplet or the sparkling bubbles. Alrighty, if you go back in here, now you have the sparkling bubbles unlock effect enabled. And you can also do some show information. You tap that, you can show a dual clock. You can show the weather on the lock screen by making sure this is turned on. Go back. You can also tap owner information and put a little quote in the main screen. So I can say Saki. Click OK. If I go back into the lock screen, it says Saki right here. And there we go. And I just want to let you know, if you were to go back in here and if you change the lock screen type, the screen lock type, if you tap this, and let's just say you want to put a PIN number, let's just do 0000, 0000, then what's going to happen is you're going to lose some of the customization options. So if I go back out here, now I have a PIN number, but I cannot change the unlock effect. Alrighty, just keep that in mind when you're setting a security. And as you know, the Samsung Galaxy S6 series, they come with fingerprint sensors that work really nice. So if you go back to screen lock type, let's just unlock that. At the bottom it says fingerprints. If you tap it, you can create brand new fingerprints. All you do is keep tapping until it fully recognizes your finger. Okay, I'm not going to do that right now, but you get the idea. And then using fingerprints, you can do web sign-ins for certain websites and even verify your Samsung account. Alrighty, so let's go back here and put it back to no security. Now if you go back into settings and if you go to lock screen and security under personal, at the bottom you have what's called other security settings. If you go in, all the way at the bottom it says pin windows. Tap this guy and enable pin windows. What this is going to do for you is if you go into the multitasking pane, you can pick a window that has that tiny pin symbol on it and simply tap on it. And that's going to pin this screen to your phone. So if you give your phone to your friend, all he can do is stay within the settings screen and go nowhere else. Okay? So he cannot go home. He cannot launch the phone. He cannot go to your gallery and look at your secret pictures. And when you're ready to disable this, you simply press and hold on the back and home and back and the multitasking button, and it says application no longer pinned. So again, you can pin anything. So if you go over here, you can pin the calculator on the screen so your friend can only use your calculator. Alrighty, and when you're done, press and hold, back and multitasking, and that unpins that application, giving you full access to your phone. Alright, so if you guys listen to a lot of music on your phone using an external Bluetooth device, such as a nice speaker, what you can do is you can go to settings and you can enhance your sound experience. So go to settings, go to device, and tap on sounds and notifications. And at the middle here it says sound quality and effects. If you tap this guy, you can enable Sound Alive Plus and the Tube Amp option. Now these options only get enabled if you are actually listening to music on a Bluetooth player. So if I click OK, it's going to say I can't do it I need a headset or a Bluetooth device. But this is going to enhance the sound that comes out from the speakers. So let's go back out and let me show you something else. If you go to phone and if you pull up your dialer, what you can do is you can assign speed contacts to each of these numbers here. Okay? So the only one you cannot assign a speed contact is number 1, because that will take you to your voicemail. If you tap and hold, it goes to the voicemail. Alrighty? So what you can do though is if you go to contacts, you can tap on any one of the contacts you want. You can click more and you can say speed dial. And then let's say you want to add that to number 2. You click plus, you go back out, go to the dialer, tap and hold, and that will quickly dial AES, the contact that you want it to be on the speed dial. You can also just tap on 2 and it's going to bring AES directly. So you don't have to dial them, you can just tap number 2 and it's going to bring your contact right here. Now you can have a lot of speed dials. You don't have to have, it seems that you only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but you can have more than that. So if you go back into contacts, let's just click the same contact, click more, speed dial. As you can see, you can go all the way to 100. So if I do use 100, this is how that works. Let's go back out, bring up the dialer. As you can see, when I put in 100, it brings AES directly. So that's how you keep track of that. But if you just want press and hold, then you have to go with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 0. And one more thing I want to show you guys, if you go back into phone, and if you, let's just go back to contacts, what you can do is you can swipe to the left to send a message to your contact, or swipe to the right to call them directly. Alrighty, so if you swipe to the left, it pulls up the messaging application. If you swipe to the right, it just calls them directly. To make sure this feature is enabled, what you want to do is you want to click more, settings, and make sure swipe to call or send messages is actually turned on. And then you can do anybody. And again, if you go into settings, there's some more exciting options here. If you go to personal, accessibility, tap it, you can play with these 3 things. Let's go to vision. If you scroll down, you can create a grayscale mode, so everything on your phone is black and white. You can also negate all the colors on your phone to get a different experience. So this actually negates all the colors in your phone across the board, and this gives you grayscale. And the other thing you have here is called the magnifier window. If you tap this guy and if you enable this, you have a tiny little window that shows up, and you can move this around to magnify content on the display of your phone. And you can even change the size of the magnification by playing with this meter. As you can see, now it's even bigger. So just in case you need it, we have it. And if you go back out, and if you go to dexterity, there's something here called the assistant menu. If you tap this and enable it, a little menu just pops up and lives on your screen. So if you go back out, you can use this menu to do a lot of things. Tap it, you can bring up the multitasking, which is this button at the bottom. You can tap it again, you can go to home. Okay, you can use the back button from here. You can pull down the notifications tab right from this little floating menu. If you tap it again, you have even more options. So you can go down, you can lock your device right from here. And if you unlock it, it's going to be right there. Okay? So this is just a little thing you can play with if you want to. So go to settings, go to accessibility, dexterity, the system menu, and disable it if you don't like it. And if you go into the hearing, what you can do is you can have this thing enabled. It's called flash notification. So every time you get a notification or when your alarm sounds, it's going to flash the LED light in the back. And here's some crazy option they added. It's called sound detectors. If you tap this guy, what you can do is if your phone detects that a baby is crying or the doorbell is ringing, it's going to alert you. Okay? What you have to do though is you have to record the doorbell. So if you tap on, you click confirm, and you say turn on, it's going to ask you to go and record the doorbell a couple times until it registers that sound. And then every time the doorbell rings or the baby cries, you get a notification on your phone.